Welcome to Backstage past Nicolet College. Today you're joining us on the stage as the college is preparing for the fall production of Sweet Surrender, as you can tell by the props on stage. Let's not waste any time and get started. Welcome to Backstage past Nicolet College. Today we're joined by Javoroski. Al, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners and what your role is here at Nicolet College?
Yeah, hi. My name is Al Javoroski. I am Vice President of Innovation here at Nicolet College. So as Vice President of Innovation here at the college, this is a new role for the college. So the day-to-day is very different than what I had been used to, right? I have a lot of flexibility in this new role as we really look to help bring and foster innovation across the college.
So with innovation, it's an exciting word, but it's also kind of a hard one to define because the tangibility of it is hard to measure at times. So what are some of the factors that you weigh in measuring what the innovation looks like and what you're striving for to achieve at this college?
I think if you ask anyone what innovation is, you're going to find different answers, right? And the answers may even change from that same person over time. And so for us, as we look at innovation as in our context, right? Our context being a publicly funded institution of higher education, you know, innovation to us is a collective practice of identifying, developing, and implementing new ideas, new solutions, new processes. And to the measurement piece, right, we do that because our goal is to improve outcomes, to create value for our community, for our students, for our staff, and really to strengthen our ability to be adaptive and to be able to thrive. Right now, as part of the strategic leadership team, we're doing a lot of work on something called OKRs, Objectives and Key Results. And the idea there is to really help us define what those measurements will look like.
So personally, as a student, the idea that the college has put the resources and energy into this innovation is very exciting to me because change is usually challenged, you know, but it seems like here the innovation and the change is embraced and accepted, and I think it's just a really cool thing that you're working on, that your role, and one that I specifically was excited to highlight in this podcast. So thank you for sharing that with us. How did you get here?
How did I get here?
Yeah.
How did I get here? Well, I guess I'll start out like I think many people do, in that this wasn't my plan, my intent. My original intent in career was commercial architecture. So I'm fascinated by all architecture, but particularly commercial. But how did I get here? My first job out of college was at a machine shop, and I thought maybe I should become a journeyman machinist. I enjoy working with my hands. About a year and a half into it, the owner of the company came out and said that he wanted to bring computers into the machine shop. Keep in mind, this was the 80s. And so that was new. And, you know, he looked around and, well, who here knows what a computer is? And he saw me and he says, how would you like to learn computers and teach our staff? And so, you know, that really started my journey of teaching people how to be more productive at their work. And so, long story short, I went on to start teaching. I got my first full-time teaching job when I was 24 years old at a university. And teaching I taught design, but I also taught a lot of manufacturing automation, how to bring computers into the manufacturing world. And I've stuck with the higher ed theme now 35 years, I think. How I got to this role, back in 2019, I saw a position open up here at Nicolet College. So I'm originally from the Wausau area, and I saw a position at Nicolet College as the Dean of Business. And previous to that, I had served many different roles as faculty, as instructional design, as a dean. And I always thought that helping the business side of our communities was very important, and I wanted to know more about the challenges, right? When you're not directly engaged with it, you scratch your head and say, well, how hard can it be? So I did buy a small business years ago, and I continue to run a small business, so I learned firsthand there. But then I came here as Dean of Business. That was in 2019. In 2021, the opportunity arose for me to move into the Vice President of Academics position here. And so I did that. During that time, as we worked on our strategic planning and our plans for the future, our conversations with our board, the college board, revolved around continuous quality improvement and building a culture or a mindset of planning. So we thought a lot about that. How are we going to do that? How do we capitalize on that desire that our board had? Then in 2024, I believe, the opportunity arose for us to create a new position that can help guide and lead those initiatives. And so hence Vice President of Innovation was created, and I took a lateral move into that position, and here I sit today, just a year into it.
Do you have a favorite spot that you like to come and, do focus work or just to clear your mind?
Well, I definitely have a favorite spot, and I can tell you I haven't been there in a while, but for a while I had an office in Red Oak, out by the lake, and there's a path that goes out onto the point and a picnic table out there. And I would find myself on a somewhat regular basis just saying it's time to clear my head and think and walk out and sit at that picnic table. Sometimes read. Can also get a Wi-Fi signal out there, so sometimes I could be on my computer, but that was definitely a favorite spot of mine. I think overall, I do enjoy just walking around the campus, any of the trails, as a way to regroup and change focus.
Yeah, it definitely seems to have that effect on the majority of the staff at the campus, doesn't it? It's like that recharge in the middle of the day.
I think my favorite time on campus, though, is any time I see wildlife. I was so used to going to work and driving through all kinds of traffic and parking in crowded parking lots and making your way into the concrete jungle. And so the drive-in, right, it changes your perspective with the trees, and then you add the wildlife to it, and I think it starts the day out right.
So is there a piece of advice, or say you could wave a magic wand and give all students a skill or a mindset, what would that be?
The skill or the mindset that I would give them would be to take chances, to have courage. Several people here have heard me on my soapbox or my story about, why my transition from very large universities to small community colleges like Nicolet. And I've always said that innovation and creativity thrives in small communities. And so I'm here and I see the innovation and I see the creativity. I think the piece that we need more of is courage. So I think if you can get students, staff, anyone to marry more courage with their ideas, I think we can have some great success.
So looks like you did wear a favorite shirt for us today, so maybe you could explain that to us. It looks like Learn to Build, Fly.
Yeah, so this is my new favorite shirt. I have a lot of favorite shirts that are t-shirts, but This is my new favorite shirt, Learn, Build, Fly. It's a nonprofit organization that I became a part of just this past year. And what the organization does is it's a place where kids can come and learn things about airplanes, right? It's in the Wausau Airport. We meet every Tuesday night, and I volunteer a few hours on Tuesdays. In fact, just last night we had 5 new kids from Rhinelander down in Wausau. And it's no charge to the kids, and the kids come, many of them bring their parents, and we can engage them. I spend my time doing design work with them, doing some 3D printing. I work with them on welding and fabricating. They can also work on, they can be on flight simulators. We do composites work, just all kinds of things just geared around airplanes.
And how would a student find this?
Actually, go to their Facebook page. It's probably that they do a very good job of posting to Facebook every week. It's learnbuildfly.org is the website as well. And every Tuesday, 6:30 till 9 is when we're open. We're also open on Saturdays. A lot of us go on Saturdays and do some behind-the-scenes work to get ready. But yeah, it's fun. You know, what I've found over my journey in education is that I really enjoy working with students, teaching them. My kids are now at the age that I don't know how much they'll learn from Dad anymore, so they're moving on. But I thought it was a great timing for me to get back and teach some of these kids.
So you mentioned that as a kind of a hobby, extracurricular thing that you do. Do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, any other hobbies? I don't know that, you know, I guess the things that I do, most people don't really classify them as hobbies. You know, there was a time I did a lot of golfing. I don't do that anymore. I did a lot of fishing. I sold my boat. I really enjoy working. It seems weird, but to me, the satisfaction of accomplishing something is what I thrive. What I thrive on or desire. And so I guess my hobbies would be, I love building things in my workshop. I love fixing things. I love helping other people build things. So yeah, that's probably my hobby.
Well, a human that loves their job never works a day in their life, right, Al?
Right.
All right, well, let's go on to a little rapid fire here. So, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Beach or mountain vacation?
Mountain all the way.
Early bird or night owl?
Night.
Book or movie?
Book.
Do you have an all-time favorite book, or do you have a favorite right now?
I'll say that I have a lot of books. I am one of those that loves to buy books and read the first chapter or two, and then I get distracted by the next book. The books that I read, though, I tend to read things like textbooks. It's kind of weird, but
No judgment.
right now the textbook I'm reading is Self-Determination Theory. The book I just bought, and I see it was shipped and should be there when I get home, is Quantum Mechanics. I don't know what I'm going to do with that one, but yeah, I love reading textbooks. I guess I'm a learner at heart.
So, after a long day, what would be your favorite thing to do to unwind? What do you do when you get home to, you know, lessen the burden of the day or relieve some stress or blow off some steam?
So I would say, first of all, I've always intentionally chosen not to live too close to work. Because to me, the most relaxing thing can be a drive to and from work. So I really enjoy the drive home. I can really clear my mind and think about a different phase of activity or life. You know, I love to go out and cut grass.
Well, Al, it's been a pleasure to have the time to sit down and talk to you and for you to take time out of your busy schedule to do this with us. Brings us to the last part here where we get to choose the next guest. See, you've chosen this Rudolph hat, maybe? Can you elaborate on what dictated that choice for you?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one. Hunting season's here. I enjoy my time out in the woods hunting and hunting with friends, so the deer hat just made sense. I'm not going to wear it out hunting.
Yeah, that might. Well, I don't know. Maybe you trick a deer. All right, so you go ahead and you can draw the next name out, and go ahead and tell us who it's going to be.
Kate Farrell.
Kate Farrell, president of the college. Well, Al, thank you for your time today again. It was a pleasure to have time to sit down and get to talk to you.
Yep, nice talking with you again, Jake.